just realize that being alone is not the same as being lonely. Being lonely means that some spiritual need of yours is frustrated. And this will lead to mental illness in the long run. That's being lonely. When you are alone for a moment, that's not a bad thing in itself. I mean, when you're in the shower, you are alone, right? When you're on the toilet, you are alone, right? I hope you are. Um, there are things you need to do alone. We know that. And listen, being alone for a moment or maybe a while can be God's way to free you. What if you grew up in a toxic environment, but your society where you grew up in doesn't perceive it as toxic? I'm going to give an example. What if you grew up in this military type environment where you were not even allowed to exist unless there was some benefit coming from you? Now, you may grow up now craving so much attention from other people. Why? Because you were never allowed to exist. Or maybe your parents did not guide you at all when it was proper, because children need to be guided because they have no other option, literally. But what if you had parents that did not do that? And now that you're older, you realize that you could have gotten into a lot of unnecessary trouble because of this. So now you're thinking, whoa. So now you crave this dominance over you. You want to be controlled so deeply. Why? Because the permissiveness of your parents when you were a child was dangerous to you, but your parents were not aware of it, or they just didn't care. They were narcissistic. So now that you're older, you don't want any danger at all. In both cases, you grew up in a toxic environment, and your behavior of wanting to be controlled can be appreciated in certain professions. So you may be rewarded for this toxic mentality that you've developed. Or maybe you're in a setting where you crave so much attention, for example, as a female, and it's praised on Instagram, it's praised when a lot of guys want to have their way with you. So that toxicity, that's ruining you. I'm not talking about whether other people are bothered by it or not. There are many things people should be bothered by, and they don't even pay attention to it. Often when people are bothered by you, it's because they want to control you, or they have issues that they want to dump on you. That toxicity that's ruining you, God wants you free from it. And there are times God will separate you from the people around you just that you can recover. Because oftentimes society will not allow you to recover. I'm telling you that straight up. Society will often not allow you to recover because society benefits from you being in that toxic state. Because as long as you're in that toxic state, they have something they can use against you when they don't want to be responsible towards you. When society wants to discard you, they want some excuse to discard you. And if you have some toxicity, they can use that as an excuse to disregard you completely. So society will often hinder your healing. So God will put you through times when you are alone. It's not a bad thing. Why is God putting you in times when you are alone? Embrace it. Embrace it. Now, other times the enemy will put you in times you are alone? No. Let me tell you why. The enemy wants you stuck in patterns and cycles. And the only way for you to be stuck in patterns and cycles if you are stuck with other people who are stuck. So Satan will rarely cause you to be alone. God will cause you to be alone just so that you recover, so that you'll be integrated into his kingdom. So you are a social creature, so God wants you to be socially active. So this antisocial isolationist mentality that a lot of people develop because they don't want to deal with stuff is not God's plan, and it's unhealthy. Even psychologists and psychiatrists will tell you this. So God will cause you to be alone for your recovery. Satan will push you to be involved with society. He will give you the right people on the right time to solve the issues around you. Why? So that you remain stuck. That's what the enemy wants. So if you are alone for a moment, embrace it. Don't fight it. So that's it for now. Keep on agreeing with Christ and be at peace.